Hello, beautiful hearts. We are so excited to share an upcoming summit series here on New Earth One Network. I'm Loren Gailey, and I'm so pleased to share with you Sherry Lynn. Sherry Lynn is a beautiful light worker. She's all about the Divine Mother. She's on a mission to share this wisdom that she has experienced in her own life. And this summit series is called Hidden Wholeness, weaving the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine together. This is a series that interviews beautiful spiritual teachers, healers, and light workers sharing this beautiful knowledge. Sherry, thank you so much for offering this wonderful program. Can you tell us what inspired you on this topic?
Mm. First of all, I would like to thank you, dear Loren, and New Earth One, and all of the support from Tamara and other people that I'm not even aware of, but I genuinely and deeply grateful for this opportunity. And what inspired me was just my own journey. Really, truly was my own journey of feeling separated and but also the journey, the beautiful journey in connecting and realizing that woven within us is already everything we need. It's just hidden. The wholeness that we are whole, we are complete, we are loving, we are sovereign, we are sacred, we are so many things, and yet it's a journey of weaving our sacred feminine and our sacred masculine together. And so it's highlighting, it's really beginning to pay attention to ourselves and honoring the process that we're on. And it is a sacred journey. And so that's how that all came to be.
I absolutely love it. I really do, because the wisdom that you bring through from your guests in this summit series will absolutely influence and inspire all those who take part in this. And as we know, New Earth is a frequency, and you are bringing in, assisting, facilitating the incoming frequency, anchoring within our hearts even more. So the conversations that you've got in this series are so beautiful. I just want to share, there's going to be a presentation once a day so that people can integrate that lesson. And you can watch it when it's being broadcast, or you can watch it on the replay immediately after. It's always available. But we've got some incredible, beautiful light workers. We've got Crystal Hughes, Grace Galzagori, Jean Eng, Peter Tung, Margot Fraser, Jen Cunnings, Kim Vandesand, Amala Rose, Chloe Vesca, and Elizabeth Wood. These are beautiful light workers who share their journey of love. And as you've interviewed these beautiful light workers, what strikes you the most, or what is a few of your takeaways that you've garnered from this series?
Mhm. That's such a good question because it's like last year, everything, you know how it is in our minds. We think things are going to be a certain way because it's just sort of a goal that we're setting. And this is what my next step is in my journey. And I always realize that the huge takeaway, first of all, is in the beautiful sacred conversations that I was able to have with people. That, first of all, to shift my energy, to change my vibration, to be holding that container of loving energy, of healing energy, that was a gift. Always a gift for me. And
Mhm.
then, a lot of these people like Grace and Jean and Crystal are all they've taught me too. So have you, by the way. So, they're people that I really have learned and grown from and experienced myself more as a sacred being. And so they're people I trust. And I know others can trust too. And Kim, we co authored a book, like it's a multi co authored book. So everybody
Excellent.
that I interviewed is touch my life in some way. Gene is funny because the intergalactics, I would have never thought that was going to be part of my path, but yet it is when we open up to allowing ourselves to allow the mind to soften, to weave in with the heart, the mind and the heart, um, and allowing ourselves to really begin to experience ourselves for who we truly are, our true selves. And that's the gift in showing up and saying yes, always over and over and over to ourselves, even when it feels a little scary. And so it's been so beautiful because everybody opened my heart more.
That is, that's really, it's what we try to do here. It is our mission at New Earth One Network. We are here to open hearts, to inspire, and that is, and embody the higher self. When we do that, we transcend all diversity, all polarity, and we really work to unity consciousness.
Mhm.
But besides that, this is a vibration. It is a frequency that you felt in your interviews. And this is really what becomes each of our truths. When we can experience something, that becomes our truth. And when there's so much information out there, so much information out there that can take us off kilter and knock us to our knees at some times, or bring us into deep power types of despair.
Mhm.
This information is what uplifts us. And that's what keeps me going too. Even through the pandemic, it was we were just going through the motions, but I saw it, it was like a lifeline.
Mhm.
And so you are the host of this series. It's a lifeline for you because it's opening your heart and you're feeling the frequency. It's doing that for the speaker, the person that you're interviewing. And more importantly, it's doing it for the audience so that the
Right.
audience receives this. And each person who receives the programs is shifted like you were shifted. And that shifts our world. It radiates out into the families. I can see this web of light where, because one person makes that shift in their vibration and frequency and feels uplifted, that's true empowerment. Now they're going out in the world feeling empowered instead of, all the other stuff that's out
Right.
there to distract us from that. Isn't that lovely? That's so
It,
lovely.
it is so beautiful. And I was sharing with you earlier because each time, like last time with Legacy, I love teachers entered into my life. And then this time I said to you, I feel like it's about community. And I'm realizing community is communion. So we are in communion with each other and we are holding this beautiful sacred space and this beautiful sacred energy that is being felt by whoever is joining us, listening. You're there with us. And it's this beautiful wave that's being sent. And, I mean, sometimes the mind, we can't process all of this, but you can certainly feel it.
Yes, we can feel it. So thank you for this. We invite everyone to register for this summit series. Sign up for it. It's totally free. There's a beautiful upgrade package that gets you some incredible opportunities to even take things further. And of course, every speaker has a beautiful offering as well. So we're really excited to present it to you. And even if all you do is show up and receive these transmissions, it's really life-changing. It's vibrational changing. It's helping us anchor in New Earth even more. And again, as we said, it's shifting the frequency of the planet. So it's really powerful. Sherry, as we say goodbye, I want to give you a moment to maybe give any final thoughts on the power of this series.
Sometimes it's hard to even say that because for each one of us, We're all intended to receive whatever the wisdom, the energy, the transmission, the shift in our consciousness, whatever it is, it's meant for you. And I received what I was intended to receive, which I said is I think about communion, really realizing the sacredness in community. And so, Loren, I'm so grateful for another opportunity to do this, to share, to shine, to be. And I just hope that everybody, just allows themselves the moment, the hour or whatever it is, to really enter into the sacred communion with their soul, with their
Ah.
higher self, and let that energy shift your consciousness and receive.
Beautiful work. Thank you so much for putting this together as a host and a beautiful light blazer, let's call you Heartlight Blazer. Thank you. And everyone else, you are a Heartlight Blazer as well as you receive these transmissions and conversations. We
Mhm.
look forward to having you join us. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you,
Namaste.
beautiful ones. Namaste.
This is part of our innate design to connect with the mother's love, which was our primordial love, the first love that we knew that held us into creation here. And that is what that gives us the power of love that we talk about. That's the divine feminine. That's what we need to heal. So when we open that doorway, that portal through the womb, which is necessarily challenging because of the tremendous amount of sexual trauma of all variations that we've had over lifetimes, as well as the trauma that the planet has had, groups of people, etc. And many spiritual traditions, even the earth paths that have been denigrated over lifetimes, has really suppressed this. And we have also come to value the mind and to suppress our bodies and to not really understand that this primordial connection to the earth and to the earth mother, to the divine feminine, is what we need to really awaken this tsunami of love within our own bodies to heal a lot of the old trauma, a lot of this past trauma. And that minus that, we can't get there. So we've been misled or misunderstood because there's been such a suppression of the lower body for so long that corresponds to the deepest feminine, the mother, the most, I think, the most primordial part of ourselves, that we haven't known how to heal ourselves and that we suppressed and lost that capacity a long time ago. And that resurrecting that is what's so desperately needed now.
This knowledge was quite secret or hidden, like maybe 500,000 years ago or more. You usually were in a monastery type situation or like a mystery school, like very small populations, which people here, if you believe in past lives, may have been part of that because that's why you're interested in this life and spirituality and sort of running into the opportunities to relearn practices you may have already started in another life. And because, like, many of us have had the experience of having friends or family members who, we talk about these subjects, not that they would ridicule them or not. Of course, that's another situation, but it just doesn't really land. And so they're kind of focused on different aspects of their life now. So just even having interests in this topic probably means or suggests that one had already maybe done these practices in some form in another life. And because they are kind of lifetime to lifetime practices, most of them take lifetimes to kind of fully complete that alchemical subtle bodybuilding. And some of these practices, particularly the Kundalini practices, are supposedly can only be done if you have a human body. So if people believe in like existing in let's say non-physical dimensions, whether now or predominantly in between incarnations, our consciousness can be doing things in those non-physical dimensions. But these particular Kundalini practices, because of the basis that I just mentioned, they're based on that energy essence given to you by your father and mother, which is an energy, but it's very physically based. You know, it's actually the ovum and sperm energies. You kind of need to have incarnated into the physical. So maybe one of the reasons, you know, people can tune in that one physicalized, one incarnated, is to be able to have the vehicle to do those practices. It's almost like the physical body is a tool to do a very specific practice or action.
It all comes back to love, because we have the totality of our being, and it's time to embrace that and to acknowledge everything that we are. And that is also inviting us to bring in harmony to the divine feminine and masculine qualities within us. And if you look at society, but also how a lot of us have been grown up, it's like, if you look at the aspects of the wounded masculine and feminine, those have most of the time have been active in the world, but also in ourselves, and it's time to let them rise. It's time to let them come together and to work together, because when we're fully in our divine feminine energy, it means we allow our inspiration to lead the way. We're stepping into this unknown territory, knowing we are supported, we are loved, we are guided every step of the way. And in that, the divine masculine can step forward to bring forth for what we're here to bring. It is this beautiful co-creation that brings forth these aligned creations in the world, this deep soul fulfillment. But for me, in all of that, love is the key. Because if we keep looking at each other, like we all, whether man, woman, or whatever beautiful form we are, we all have divine masculine and feminine qualities within us. But if we act upon the wounded aspects, like the wounded feminine is the more jealousy or more insecurity, and the wounded masculine is more like I'm the ruler and this is the structure and it needs to be like this. And if we keep operating from that also within ourselves, then we're never ready to step forward. We're never ready to fully experience the capacity of our being and the oneness that is all.
The light, the divine, your greater consciousness, it needs something to anchor into. And if you're not even in your body, if you're not grounded to and connected to the earth, then there's nothing for that light to anchor into and ground into. So you're absolutely right. We need to be fully in our bodies. We need to be connected to the physical realm, connected to Mother Earth, so that we can channel in more light into the physical realm, right? So we need to first be anchored in our bodies, connected into Mother Earth, in order to really allow that light something to anchor into.
There's a whole fractal network of threads that interconnect with everything. So even when you're doing your own inner work, you're actually doing it on behalf of the collective of humanity and for the planet itself. So quite a few spiritually aware people feel as if they're not doing enough. They feel, what can I do? It's so overwhelming what's happening in the world. What am I supposed to be doing? And the answer is, you're just supposed to be doing your inner work. There may be an external aspect to your work which is helpful, but the critical piece is doing your inner work. So that when you clear a shadow frequency within yourself, you are an archetype acting on behalf of humanity for others to clear the same wound.
Yes, life has its challenges. There's no doubt about that. And it's moving through those challenges again that allow us to learn. And if we can call on and learn how to call back on and ignite, I guess, in a way, these originating feminine forces that are there, that are waiting for us to call on them, they're part of us, then we can again just be at peace in the unknown. We can be at peace. Let me be within myself. Let my own knowing and senses and intuition and instinct flow through me.
One of the alchemical practices that we can incorporate to assist in balancing the feminine and the masculine, as well as the left brain and the right brain. And then we can also use it to balance like our spiritual and our physical connections. And so just by simply imagining, bringing our attention, bringing our focus to moving the infinity through our bodies can assist in that balance. Most of the women, including myself, that I see have a block to embracing their divine feminine, you know, in an easy way. And so there's been an adoption of this distorted masculine that kind of runs the show. So in that, what does that look like? If we're in a distorted masculine or an inability to receive our feminine, we tend to be in control. We tend to be left brain, and we tend to allow the mind to override the heart. And the reason why and then I will add to that, there's a lot of protection, and there's a significant fear of vulnerability and really opening the heart, because there have been violations and wounds that, whether you've been in a male body or a female body, that have been like kind of the victim persecutor consciousness. There's been the victim, and then there's been the persecutor. And in these past events that we've seen in our own lineage, in our own lifetimes, and in all lifetimes, we see this, of course, on the bigger stage of where the feminine, the artistic, the creation has been squashed. And then, so what did that do for us? Well, we squashed that within ourselves.
That's our higher self talking to us. It knows the right thing to do. We all know it. We could call it that still small voice within us. But sometimes if we don't listen to it, it's going to get louder and louder and louder and louder and louder. And hopefully we don't have to be on our knees in desperation or despair before we listen to it. So listening to the higher self is really key. And we do it through the heart. We do it through coming to the heart temple. And this is the work that it's connecting with the Divine Mother, the feminine side of us, but then also seeing that the masculine side of us is also part of that higher self. It's like they're woven together. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, what brings the calm, divine, get her done messaging of the masculine, where the feminine is the receiving, receptive, nurturing, like it's all right, it's all love. And so the higher self is that weaving of the divine feminine and the divine masculine within us. So if we can embody that in our life and live it, that is the ultimate goal.
There are secrets to this. And we are cyclical beings. We grow organically and naturally. And as we grow and as we kind of spiral up, at every turn, we're moving through these stages of development, but each stage reveals its own secrets. And this is really fascinating, but we do have to pay attention. Because as we're in that space of organic transformation, there's going to be clues, there's going to be visions, there's all these things that we can uncover, little gems that we can treasure, that will point us, that will guide us, that are frequency tones as well, that are nudges sometimes as to what we're doing. It's important, though, as we're looking at this theme of oneness, to know what we actually mean by oneness. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by oneness is getting into that place where we're literally floating in the ocean of consciousness, where there is no mind. So it's not just a concept where we're thinking of, okay, I'm one with all. I know that. It's easy for us to mentalize that, but we're really starting to understand the deeper experience internally. And that's why I wanted to come on and share this with you, because I've discovered a secret that truly can allow us to do things in a specific order. And if we do that in a specific order and we are in the right attitude, it seems that that is going to really support us unlocking this state of being that is oneness. So it's not just a concept anymore. It actually is us embodying that state of oneness and all that that brings us.
How I felt inside was so beautiful that I'd never felt before, that I kept allowing it, whether it was real or not, because the experience was real. It's really all about being in the inner environment and how we can work with all the very, very human things that every single person goes through. The whole point is to come home to the inner self and begin to, notice the subtleties. You alluded to shifts. It's for I think I think for most people it's very, very subtle, and so it's just that practice of tuning in. And yeah, you can't get more grounded than the body, and the body is how we do all this.
Connecting with the heart was key, because the heart is kind of the universal portal. And it is also what's going to reveal you all the power, all the wisdom, and all the love you're going to need on your path of creation, really. We are all divine creator of our reality. So when we start feeling, I wish to align more with my purpose, I wish to shift something into my reality, this is the soul wanting to reach out. Yeah. And when we have this moment, we need to listen. It's kind of the readiness of the soul wanting to go higher, really. We are in a moment of transition on earth. Everything is elevating. So are we. We need to follow. What is healing? Healing is kind of dissolving all the untruth in us, all the false belief, the limitations, and also the hidden programs that we can carry. Let's say from the ancestral, from previous lifetimes, etc. And sometimes we're not even able to see those aspects. So the support on all levels is necessary to identify some blind spots that might be there and do the alchemy to reach true liberation. And that's when the Ascended Masters step in. Yeah. They are really, really, really wanting to help us open our heart, remember the connection with them and really with Source, our God self, our I am presence. Yeah, that's the same. It's the God spark in us.